Welcome, everybody. We're getting ready to start our May City Council meeting. This is an extension from our work session on Monday night. I have not promised, I have not committed, but I hope we're not here where I get home at 10 minutes to 11. I hope. But if we are, we are. So, with that said, I'd like to ask the new pastor at the Summit Baptist Church, Jesse, come up and introduce yourself and also do the invocation for us.
Absolutely. Hey everybody, my name is Dr. Jesse Welliver. Glad to be here, new to Summit Baptist, but also not so new to Loganville. My dad has lived here for 25 years. Glad to be here, and I would love to meet all of you at some point in the future. We'd love to chat. Would you pray with me? Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. We praise you, God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, for all of your mighty works, especially the work of salvation that you've given through your Son, Jesus. As we gather, we're reminded of your word, which tells us to pray for all kinds of prayers for all kinds of people, especially those who hold local, state, and national government positions. In 1 Timothy 2, you have given to us. First of all, then, I urge that supplications, prayers, intercessions, and thanksgivings be made for all people, for kings and all who are in high positions, that we may lead a peaceful and quiet life, godly and dignified in every way. This is good, and it is pleasing in the sight of God our Savior, who desires all people to be saved and to come to the knowledge of the truth. God, we thank you for Loganville. Thank you for all of our elected officials, our protectors, our businesses, our churches, this council, and every family that calls Loganville home. Loganville is home to many blessings and benefits, and the reality is we deserve none of them. We recognize that we've sinned against you in many ways, in thought and in action, and at many points we've failed to obey the great commandment to love you with all of our heart, soul, mind, and strength, and to love our neighbor as ourselves. But we're thankful for hope, because as we look to Jesus, the crucified and risen Lord, we can receive forgiveness through his sacrifice. We ask that through your Son and Spirit, you would make us into a people who love our neighbors here in Loganville with a love that is only explainable by your grace. We thank you for our government. According to your word, you've instituted your government for the blessing of its people, which includes commending the righteous and punishing the wicked, as you say in Romans 13 and 1 Peter 2. We pray that our local government would recognize that responsibility and execute it well. God, that you would empower the righteous in our city government. We thank you for our righteous law enforcement leadership and officers. We ask for their protection as they serve our citizens, families, churches, and businesses. For all of our first responders, we ask for grace, mercy, comfort, and strength to fill their lives. And we ask that in all these positions of authority, that we would remember that these positions exist to serve others and not to lord it over others. For as your word says in Proverbs 29:2, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when a wicked man rules, the people groan. Lord, for our city council, I ask for a double measure of wisdom and discernment to be granted to them. And as they meet tonight and in the future, guide them toward realities that will benefit Loganville and its citizens. I pray for their personal lives as well, that you would be to them an ever-present help in time of trouble, rest, hope, and that they would know the height, the depth, and the breadth of the love that you have for them and us in Christ Jesus. It's in his name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Jesse. I have asked Jesse if he'd wait up front for the our law enforcement contingent that's here today, all three. Y'all will come up and help Jesse do the pledge. And Keith Colquitt, he's the head of our Planning and Zoning Commission. Join them. We'll have it. Greg, you want to come up? Greg. Best laid plans.
Yes, sir. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It is a real honor to have our new sheriff in town. Keith, you can have the podium for a couple of minutes if you'd like. You want to say hey? I knew you would. We appreciate you being here. It's not even on an election year.
Look, I really came by here to help Chief Lowry out. For those of y'all who don't know, they had Homeland Security come in today at the last minute here in the city of Loganville, and they made some arrests, and we assisted them in that. this afternoon. It was, ended up being some narcotic arrest, and
Good.
so, no danger to the city or anything like that, but it's over here off of, Granite Lane, I believe it was. So, Chief Lauer and I both got a late minute notice, and I was scrambling to make sure he knew, so I didn't want y'all to catch him off guard, and that's the main reason I come by here, because I just have left that house, and he was en route to the meeting, and I wanted to be able to answer any question that you may have. But I've given you most of the information that I have, so
Were they arrested?
they were.
And we have a resident here that lives on Granite Lane. How can she still be here?
Well, the one we arrested has got a new residence. But as always, it's a privilege to be here in Loganville. Y'all got a great police chief and a great assistant chief,
Sure do.
city manager, and y'all do a really good job up here, and I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all's support of the Walton County Sheriff's Office, and I'll tell you, like I said, I realize and I understand who I work for, just as you do. I work for the people of Walton County. I make myself accessible, and should you ever need anything from me, don't hesitate to call. So thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you for being here, Keith. Just for information, the administrative officers will probably be moving into the new public safety facility in May, June, maybe? And the rest will follow about September?
Well, we'll have a turnkey, they'll turn the keys over to me. I don't exactly have a date on that. I've got to hire some more personnel,
Just to give you guys an idea, Keith was telling me a story one morning. If a lock breaks on a sale in our old jail, you can no longer get parts for it. He has to go and have another lock made at the cost of about $3,000 each. So, and that's probably just one example of what we're having to deal with. Appreciate you being here. Got a real treat for everybody tonight. This young lady, Emily Emmons, in her community service is working with mental health projects. And gosh knows our world today has some issues with mental health. We don't have enough services to serve the people that have the problem. We've got veterans, we've got police officers, we got firemen that are all being stressed out and affected by it. But I want to read this real quick. And she and our reporter from the Tribune, Jim, didn't you say you would sing?
I don't recall.
Okay. I didn't think I got it right. Anyway, here we go. Whereas mental health awareness plays a vital role in fostering well-being and supporting individuals within our community, and whereas the month of May is recognized nationally as the Mental Health Month, dedicated to raising awareness and promoting understanding of mental health issues, and whereas Emily Emmons has dedicated her time, her energy, and compassion to furthering the mission of mental health awareness through her Your Mind is Your Business, Keep It Healthy initiative, and whereas Emily Emmons has shown outstanding leadership in her efforts to reduce the stigma surrounding mental health, educate the public on mental well-being, and provide support to those in need. And whereas her initiative has contributed significantly to creating a more informed and supportive community where mental health is treated with the same respect and importance as physical health. And whereas, this is the last whereas, like a Baptist minister here. Whereas Emily's work has inspired individuals to prioritize their mental health, seek help when necessary, and support others in their journey towards mental well-being, now therefore I, Skip Beliles, Mayor, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2025 as Mental Health Awareness Month and recognize Emily Emmons and her community service initiative Your mind is your business. Keep it healthy. For her exceptional commitment to promoting mental health awareness, fostering open dialogue, and encouraging self-care practices that benefit the mental and emotional health of all individuals. In witness thereof, I have hereupon set my hand and caused the seal of the city of Loganville to be affixed this first day of May. We're a little late on that, but that's okay. It is Mental Health this month. And we appreciate you being here, and we thank you for your efforts. It's really tough just to tell you how society is moving. This new jail that we just talked about a little bit, how many spaces do you have for mental health, people with having mental health problems? What, 10, 20? No.
You still now have 56 medical beds.
Oh, good. In the past, our hospital has been our mental health care facility, has it not?
Well, in the past, I mean, the jail is currently the largest mental health provider in the county,
Yeah.
in any county, because they don't have any place for it to go.
So it's just a tough deal. And also, a second part of this, Emily is a world-renowned singer, and she has a song that she'd like to share with us tonight. Is that fair?
That's fair.
Is it going to be America the Beautiful?
God bless America.
Okay. Going to be God Bless America, and Emily, take it away.
Well, thank y'all very much. All right. I would like y'all to stand, in honor of our great nation. So.
Don't ask them to sing. Oh, go ahead.
Okay. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above, from the mountains, through the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Thank you.
It's a good possibility we will have Emily back with us on the 4th of July celebration, unless she wins the Miss Georgia pageant. And if that happens, we'll have to pay her then, I guess.
I will do it free.
Oh.
I get us free.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's in June, so I leave on June 4th, and I don't come back until June 15th.
Okay, I'll be looking for you.
Yes, thank you. Like, it will probably be live streamed on the final night, so.
And I will not be at the 4th of July celebration if I win Mr. America. But I'll probably be there.
We'll see you at the 4th of July.
Right. Okay, roll call tonight. All the councilors here, mayor's here, city attorney is here, our city manager is here, and our city financial director is here. So everybody's on board for a good meeting, and we're going to try like the Dickens to be out of here before 11 o'clock. So, with that said, do we have a motion to adopt the agenda?
Skip, I'd like to make an addition to the agenda under city manager's report to talk about the agenda packets that we're going to talk about on Monday, if you don't mind.
Okay.
I'll make a motion.
What are we talking about?
Well, we'll get there, but it's about the agenda packets that we were going to talk about Monday, but then it got
Okay.
too late.
Okay. All right. With that addendum, do we have a motion to approve agenda with the addendum? Okay, we have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, the agenda is approved. For those in the audience, just take a look, if you would, if you have an agenda in front of you. Those things under the consent agenda are the things that the council approved unanimously on Monday night. And instead of burdening the meeting with all those things again, we listed on the agenda, and it is approved. Could I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, it is approved 6-0. Okay, and now we'll move right into someone who's been hogging our time the last couple of months, and that would be Planning and Development Committee, Lisa Newberry.
We are going to speed it up a little bit tonight.
Well, take
Shane,
whatever
I'd
time we
like
need.
to just call you to the podium for one quick question. As y'all got the email, they have agreed to table for 30 days. Just want to make sure, Shane, you're good with that?
Yes, ma'am, we are.
Okay. All right, so in light of that, thank you. In light of that, the matter of case number R25-003, known as the Revive Land Group on Twin Lakes Road, I'd like to make a motion to table until the June work session.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed?
Aye.
Okay, we got 2 opposed, 3, 2,
3.
3, 3 opposed, 3 approved. Let's see, Patty,
Uh-huh. Yes, no.
Hank,
Yeah, she's up, she's.
you're opposed.
Yes.
And Ann, you opposed?
No.
Okay. Who else? Melanie? Who else? Okay, and Lisa. Okay. That means that one of these rare instances where I get to vote, and I approve tabling that for 30 days, and we'll have you back in when the appropriate time, and we'll move right along. We got a lot of things we need to know before we decide yea or nay at that point in time, a lot of things. So we'll see how it goes. Appreciate you guys being here. Neville, if you want to stay, that's perfect. But if you don't, would you please take Shane to the carnival? He told me he hadn't been to a carnival in his whole life, and as a little boy, he wanted to be at a carnival. Oh, they even fry Oreos now. God. Anyway, thank you. Okay.
Okay, next on the agenda.
Mayor, hold on one
Yes.
second. You made a motion to table. Are you voting against the motion?
Yes,
You can't.
Why did you make a motion to table it if you're going to vote against?
because that's what council wanted to do.
Oh, okay. Okay, this was confusing to me. Okay,
Yeah. We good?
yeah.
Okay.
Wait,
All
wouldn't
right.
she make a motion to deny? It's backwards. Yeah, Danny's right, because that's what we did last time. You make the motion to deny, and you get your votes, and then we make the motion against the denial, and then he breaks the tie.
Yeah, it works out.
It's gonna
Are we
come
good,
out the
Donnie?
same.
Okay. Still,
I mean, it works out the
just
same way.
so I'm clear for the minutes, Lisa Newberry against, Melanie Long against, Patty Wolf against, and then Ann, Bill, and Brandon for. Okay. And Mayor, you broke the tie to table.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Are we sure this time? We're good? All right, all right. Next on the
Used to be so
agenda.
easy.
This is why it takes so long.
That's okay.
Next on the agenda is item 3B in the matter of case number R25-004, known as the property on CS Floyd. I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay, passes 6-0.
Okay, next on the agenda is item number 3C, case number V25017, known as the Tommy Lee Fuller Beauty Strip. I would like to make a motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
So I'd like to amend the motion.
Okay?
So I'd like to amend the motion to
Well,
approve.
wait a minute, Lisa, you did a motion, right?
Yeah.
All right, we got to wait and see if that one is voted down, and then we'll go to another one,
So you're
whatever.
approving to the removal of the beauty strip. Is that what you're, I want to make sure I'm gonna vote properly.
The
Well-
motion is to approve the variance.
Okay.
So,
Which means they can eliminate the
They were
beauty
gonna
strip.
eliminate the beauty strip.
Hold on, let's get with our in-house engineer here.
Okay?
so,
This
We're
is
here
not
to
my
help
day
you.
job.
so what we're looking at is they're going to have to bring the strip in from Tommy Lee Fuller. It comes into the neighborhood, right? And I talked to him, he said, yes, we could run it up there and stop it at where the yellow highlights areas are, right? So, so that's kind of a modification. talk to Robbie, the other thing we could do, and talk to Hannon, is that if we want to, we could just approve the elimination of the beauty strip along that one section that's the highlighted area, and then let it go everywhere else. So that's why I was wanting to amend the motion.
Okay.
Because he's got to bring it in, he needs to bring it into the neighborhood anyway, so it's going to come all the way back. And that may be David right there. So,
So we're just talking about eliminating the beauty strip in these 11 sites.
yeah, no, it's more on the other page. Goes all the way back to
Oh, okay.
site 46.
You can, yes, you have to amend your motion. If you want to, you will, yes.
Hold on one second.
Sure.
What is the motion?
The motion would be to give a variance only in the lots affected that's labeled on the sheet.
Well,
in the
hold on.
packet.
Do y'all want to discuss with the gentleman that's here tonight? No?
Anybody got questions? Now's the time.
So, I mean, we'll just say what we're doing, what we're planning is just, like what I talked to you earlier was, and you have to step to the mic, because we're on TV. So, you said you have to bring the beauty strip in, all the way in, right? You don't have to, but it's coming in from Tony Lee Fuller.
Right, what I had said is we could bring the beauty strip into where that yellow line, where
Yeah.
those highlighted area starts, and then get rid of the beauty strip there throughout, but because there's a lot of other lots that have that short driveway
Well-
in there beside, the yellow I just marked because that's specifically where the utilities would be under the sidewalk if we had the beauty strip there. But throughout the neighborhood, you'll see there are short driveways, so to make that sidewalk walkable without cars being in the way when people parked on these short driveways, it would be nice to have that beauty strip removed inside the neighborhood so that people can walk without having to go out in the street to get around cars and whatnot. So that's mainly what we were thinking. But we're definitely keeping the beauty strip on that road frontage anyway, and then we could turn it up into the neighborhood and go, basically the common areas where there aren't gonna be driveways, we'll have beauty strip. And those first lots on the right-hand side will have beauty strip up to where that highlighted lots are. And then we're also willing to do other green space plantings and, things to improve the green spaces that are in the neighborhood. Like behind the pond on the left-hand side, there's a big open green space behind the townhomes that are there. And, we're willing to plant more trees if you want us to in that area, or, do other things to beautify that whole frontage.
Lisa,
Condition of variance, right? There's no conditions for variance.
would you like to withdraw your motion and go to Bill?
Yeah, I mean, y'all, I just feel like we don't have enough information to make this decision tonight.
Okay. Anybody else feel that way?
If y'all want to move forward with the vote,
We're
y'all
asking
let
our
you.
engineer over
Yeah,
here.
well, I mean, it comes down to, he's got shorter driveways, and do you want cars that are in it? And I'm sorry, my impression was it was, and it's kind of hard to look at the site plan and know, but my impression was is that I didn't realize it was, the yellow was just affected by the utilities. So we were thinking, okay, well, let's try to eliminate it in that area, and then we'll leave it wherever else. So I guess it would, and it's hard to make a motion, like you're saying, okay, I can put it in this area or whatever. So I kind of think I think that's what the council would want. I mean, I would think we want to try to keep as much as we can.
Keep all the beauty strips except for in the yellow area?
No, he's saying that he can't do that.
It's a lot more.
So, but what we don't know is what parts he can.
Is there not a site plan we can pull up?
Yeah,
No, I think
I'm-
he's not saying that he can't do it. He's saying that the driveways are too short in the other places
Right.
and people would have to walk. We don't have the utility issue anywhere but the yellow.
Well, let me say this, this is the first time we're seeing this tonight, or first time I am, first time
Yeah, me
meeting
too.
you and having this discussion. I've got staff over here telling me that we really need to table this
Okay.
and do this
And-
properly.
And I'm good with that. If
Okay.
it was not clear, and my understanding was a little bit different, so.
I can prepare a better site plan that shows all of the lots
And what you
that are
can't-
affected
what
with the
you
short
can do.
driveways. Yeah, what was that?
And what you can do for us.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct.
What I would like to do, in my mind, is eliminate people who are walking on the sidewalks that's been provided and have to stop and walk around cars.
Yeah.
That's what we don't want to see.
Right, so at this time, I need to withdraw the motion and make a motion that we table this for 30 days to the June.
Okay, we
The
have
June
a
meeting.
motion. We have a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay, 6-0. Table 30 days.
Table right there.
Yeah, we do need a,
All right, yep.
And do you know when the June meeting is, what day?
I'm sure Robbie can let me know, but.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Robbie's
We
looking
definitely-
now.
Yeah, we definitely need you on the Monday night work session.
sure, yeah.
Okay.
And I apologize for not being at the work session on Monday. We probably could have resolved some of this, but I was out of town and didn't have it on my calendar for some
That's
reason.
okay, we'll adjust
So-
it next month.
Yeah, we'll need it by the 3rd of June.
Yes, sir.
Robbie will need it,
We'll have it to
the
you.
latest.
We just want to get it right as we know how to get it. This is a property, just for those here, that's really would not be that complicated, except this is a fourth rendition of this property.
Right.
Since it was originally Zone O and I, they were going to put offices in there, and it's gone through several ownerships, and now we're down to this. So,
Right.
thank you for being here.
All
Yeah,
right, no
thank you.
problem. Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda is item 3D, in the matter of case number V25-018, known as the Tuck Farm variance. I'd like to make a motion to deny.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, we have 5-1, Ann Hunsinger voted to deny. Okay, so that is denied. Okay, Lisa?
Okay, last on the agenda for planning and development is item 3E. In the matter of the approval of the RFQ for the zoning ordinance rewrite, I would like to make a motion to approve the request for qualifications for the City of Loganville zoning ordinance rewrite.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Okay, 6-0.
And Mayor, that's as fast as I could get it done tonight.
Did okay, did okay if it took another hour.
And that is all we have.
We just here to serve. Okay. You sure you don't have another one you want to add? Okay, we'll move now to Finance, Human Resources, Ann Hunsinger.
You did good, Lisa, good job.
Thank you.
I don't have anything, Mr. Mayor, mine was on consent.
Wow, we just seen a miracle. A miracle. We just saw a miracle because we're
Keep it
moving
going.
right ahead.
Keep it going.
Okay, with that said, we'll move now to Public Safety Committee, and that would be Melanie Long.
Well, then I'm gonna slow it down for a minute.
That's okay.
We got I think y'all received a memorandum from Chief Lowry regarding an issue with the replacing of all the the tablets in all the police cars. And it was an emergency, and when I talked to him, I said, Chief, you could not have picked a worse month to have an emergency after our discussion about packet agendas. But this is what I said, emergencies happen, and we have to deal with them when they come up. And I'm gonna let Chief Lowry explain this better than I can, so go ahead, Chief.
Thank you, ma'am. Mayor and council, first of all, I do apologize for the lateness of this submission. Y'all know I'm not a last-minute guy, but literally at Monday night's work session, while y'all were talking about all the zoning that you had to deal with, Kyle and I were in the back of the room dealing, or trying to deal with this issue. And I'll probably say it wrong as far as the technology goes, but the long and the short of it is this: the current tablets that we have in our cars that service the computer in the car are 8 years old. Y'all know now, with as fast as technology moves, that's literally ancient for a computer. We believed that with the implementation of the new reporting software that you guys approved several months ago, that those would work, and they won't. So what we're faced with is the version that we have of this Rhino tab, which is the tablet. What we currently have is the M1. They now are on M3. The M3 will work. It has everything we need, the resolutions, all of the operating systems, all of that. The problem that we have is if we had pushed this out until next month's agenda, we cannot have those delivered here in time for Kyle to do the configuration to stay on the implementation timeline, which then pushes us out 2 to 3 months, up to 6 months. And I'll be perfectly honest with you, in the software that we're in now, 6 months is an eternity for us. We need out of it as soon as possible. So that's what we're faced with. One of the questions that Ms. Long asked when we talked about this, if you look, they are giving us a trade-in value, and compared to the cost of the new units is pretty minimal. However, normally on a computer or any kind of technology like this, we generally don't get a trade-in value. That is something that Assistant Chief Warnock talked to them about and asked them if they would do. Basically, all they'll be able to use from our current M1 Rhino tabs is the frame, because it's hard and you could throw it on the floor and it doesn't disturb it. But all of the insides, the screen, all that's just, it's going to be garbage. So that's why there's not a lot of trade-in value there. This is a purchase under the public safety set aside under the 2019 Walton County SPLOST.
Chief, I did receive one question from someone,
Yes, ma'am.
and I think the question was, all right, so this company, they're the ones that sell the product.
This is direct from
Right.
manufacturer, yes, ma'am.
Where was the break in communications that they didn't realize that the
It's not
M1?
with them. The break in the communication was with there was some miscommunication between the software vendor, which is i3 Verticals, and our technology department, not on our end, on their end. What Kyle and Mike had been asking for very early on in this is basically lack of a better term, a test version to upload so that we could see all of these things. Because it is a completely different system in the way it works, and the server where our current one is cloud-based. It's a lot of changes for these guys, so they wanted to be ahead of it, and they've got a lot of other projects going. There was a breakdown in that communication. They finally did get that, and when Mike installed it, and the guy from the software developer, basically his response was, uh-oh. Well, I don't want to hear uh-oh. I'm waiting 6 months already for this. But that's what we're faced with.
And you did say you were going to probably be upgrading the computers within the next year.
Yes, ma'am. This is something, it's just moved it forward.
Correct.
About a year. This is something Kyle and I have actually been talking about. I think this is the second year, and we debated about whether or not to even go ahead and do this prior to this software change. So quite honestly, it's going to have to happen either way. This situation that we ran into Monday evening accelerated that, put it in a bad time frame, and made me have to go have a very uncomfortable conversation with Danny about adding this to the agenda at the last minute.
But they have told you that they should be able to get them to you within you and I talked. They should be able to get them to you.
Assistant Chief Warnock talked to them today, and our anticipated delivery date now has been moved sooner. We hope to have them in hand by May 28th, which is going to give Kyle and Mike basically about a week, or actually about 8 days, to get it, all of them configured and ready for the implementation to start.
Thank you. Do y'all have any questions? Any questions? No. Okay, if we don't have any other questions, I'll make the motion that we approve Chief Lowry's request as written.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. Okay, approved 6-0.
Thank you.
Chief, and thank you for whatever danger you were in today with that situation. So thank you for taking care of looking out for our city.
I wasn't in danger. Might have been in danger of talking in my drill instructor voice when people do things and don't let us know.
But thank y'all for what y'all did in
Thank
keeping the
y'all very
city
much.
safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sure the chief felt pretty comfortable coming to the council. With fire and police, we do our best to get whatever they say they got to have. Our goal is they come home every night alive and well. So hopefully that will continue on forever. Okay, very
That's
good.
all I have tonight. Thank you, Skip.
Thank you, Melanie. Now we'll move to Public Utilities Transportation. Bill DeBall.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So my agenda items have been covered in the consent agenda.
Yes, sir.
I did want to mention that we had a meeting with GDOT this week as far as the State Route 20 project goes. It's a status meeting, met with all their leads, their engineer that's designing it, and then, of course, our engineer, Kecken Wood, who's designing Tommy Lee Fuller relocation. Anyway, just, it's a good, they want to make sure we're moving forward, and of course, we want to make sure they're moving forward.
Absolutely.
They put a pretty short burden on the city back in March, asking for what they call second submission utility plans. Danny, we scrambled, we got a contract with Kecken Wood to get rolling on those. They want it yesterday, and, we're doing our best. We're trying to get those delivered by the end of the month. That goes into importance of it. Part of it is, obviously it's for the project. They got to know where the utility relocations are. But also at the same time, is when they're submitted is when we'll submit our request for utility aid, so that we can get assistance from the state as far as the relocation cost. It's a pretty expensive. So we'll get that into May. We will probably bring it before we have to have a letter of support for it to get that, and from the city. And so in the next council meeting, we'll bring the request, and at that point, we should bring the request for that letter to go to the GDOT. They have they're pushing us, Danny. In reality, the field plan review for it's not scheduled till September. It does need to get in because we've got to get that process going to get the utility aid. But I think I've covered everything. What do you think? Anything? So
They still on that February timeline?
still on it.
Good. Do we need to get that approval tonight?
No, it'll be in the next council meeting.
Okay. We can do it tonight if we need to. We know we're going to do it.
No,
Okay.
that's all.
Very good. Thank you. Now we'll move to Public Works Facilities. Patty Wolf.
The only thing I'm aware of we have, Skip, is the vote on the toddler park. I do have a question, if you don't mind, before we vote. If anyone's vote is going to be dependent on whether it's going to be over here by the health department or at the library, I sat this afternoon and made a list of just reasons that we might want to think about whether a library versus where it is now. But if nobody's vote's dependent on that, I don't want to waste your time going through my list. Just asking that question.
Well, I know this is going to be an expensive endeavor. We all know that. If we were going to do a new town green, and if we wanted to have the toddler park on our property beside of the library property, now would be a good time to do it because we're talking about spending quite a bit of money to leave it where it is. But with that said, if it's leave it where it is, if that's what we want to do, that's what we'll do. Whatever y'all decide.
I just knew that there was some discussion, on Monday night.
Sure.
So I just wanted to address that if it needed to be addressed. Otherwise,
Well, first of all, I guess we've got to decide if we're going to do a town green, a new town green or not. We hadn't done that yet either.
we haven't voted on a new town green.
No.
So that's way on down the road as far as I can tell. So, it's a question of.
To talk about the town green, I know it was probably almost a year ago now, I can't remember, we all voted to look at that. And then it was a couple, maybe 3 months ago, I asked that we take that off for right now until after the library and some other stuff that we have going on takes place. But me and Christy and some others, we've been going and touring other downtowns with the Georgia Downtown Association, and they are wildly different. Most of them, we actually do have a pretty big one compared to most cities that I've been to, even cities with twice our population. If it is something that we do want to look at later on, I'm for it. But it had to be more than just a concert venue. It had to be kind of like a Central Park kind of idea where it does multiple purposes. And then we'd have to come up with a plan on what we're going to do with the current one, so I don't see that happening. Yeah, anytime soon, to be honest. So I'm fine with keeping it where it is, voting on it
Okay,
where it is now.
okay.
That's just me personally.
You'd rather go what?
That's my position.
What are y'all discussing?
We're just,
I said that my issue was the cost of the engineering and the cost of the park, and I would rather that go to Gaither at this point than to the Toddler Park.
I think, Ann, just my personal opinion, is we're trying to get downtown right this minute. You know, people coming downtown, and we may have to do it one thing at a time, and sidewalk, that kind of thing. And it's the busiest park. Gaither, Danny has agreed that we're gonna check on that next year, if that's long. I mean, if you can wait that long, I think the Toddler Park will draw in quite a few citizens to, once they're here, to go other places in the city, which I think is what our goal is, ultimately. So if you can wait that year for Gaither, I think Toddler.
How much are we expected to take in for the splosh that we're spending on these parks? Just so we have a number, because I would hate to spend it all on one park and we not have enough to spend on Gaither, because Gaither doesn't have bathrooms, and we really don't have a plan for that park. I do like being inclusive, but I like to have that more than just with just toddlers, because what would after they're toddlers, we don't have any other park that they could realistically go to. So more of a park that could do more for the special needs kids, handicapped kids. That's my only hesitation, like spending it all on just a toddler park, because they're not going to be toddlers forever. But I do agree with you. I do think it would be a good pro for downtown. But it's also pretty good as it is versus Gaither. I know we've talked about it back when Lisa was on council, before I got on council, and we never went forward with it. That park has needed it a little bit longer, in my opinion. This one has been touched more recently than the other one. But
And as best I remember, back in those days at Gaither, and I may be wrong, but I think we were waiting to collect SPOS money to cover that and kind of earmarking money for it.
Who do you think would be the, for lack of a better word, customer base at Gaither? Would it be the apartments over there, whatever their name is, I forget?
I think it'd be everybody citywide.
I don't know, because I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, it hasn't been up and running, I don't think, since I've paid it.
it runs and people
It's
go
open.
there. Like, they do have play equipment and stuff. I've been there with my kids before. Like, it's a nice little park. It could just be so much more. There's a lot of open land out there. I would like maybe other cities have done things like put a poster board out there and say, what would you like to see here, kind of thing. Because, I might like pickleball out there, but that might not be what is best for the area over there. They might say, we want BMX park or something. I don't know. But that'd also be further down the line too, because I'd like to see what the community would like to see there at the park as well. And then starting with our parks, kind of like what Monroe did. They started with their parks and they built nodes around it. They have communities that are built around those parks. So it's really not so much who is there now or who's going there now, is where we want it to be 20 years from now, and spend the money on the park and think ahead about who's going to use it long term.
I think in our discussions in the past too, we had talked about, certainly the bathrooms, the lights, maybe a pickleball, maybe a soccer field. But it desperately
I heard
needs,
basketball from a couple of people I talked to.
it desperately needs improvements.
Yeah, and I think the other thing for me is when I hear feedback on the park, what I hear is everybody loves the toddler park, and everybody wonders when we're going to fix Gaither up. When are we going to do something at Gaither? So that's kind of my objection.
As long as we do have enough money to do both parks, and we could do Gaither
That's a Danny thing.
next year, then I'm good with doing Toddler Park this year. But I do want to know that we do have a plan to go to Gaither next.
Yeah, I'm with you. Danny, next year, will we have the money for Gaither?
If you do Toddler Park, you will not have any more SPOS left.
So it's one or the other.
And we'll be short, even if SPOS collects, don't know, so 2019 SPOS is done, it's collected 400,000, maybe a little bit less. That would be still short for Toddler Park.
Well, what I like about the plan for Toddler Park is the inclusivity for the special needs. There's very few cities that actually have invested in that. Is there any feasibility in incorporating special needs equipment into Gaither Park? Can we like leave Toddler Park as it is? Is there any feasibility to that? I don't know about location and things like that. You'd have to build bathrooms, obviously, if you're gonna have special needs. So then you
Sure,
get into
so-
a whole other situation, but I really
Yeah.
feel like we should kind of lead the way in the area to inclusivity to the
So
special
Gaither's
needs.
a blank canvas, it has a lot of room for expansion. The issue with Gaither is it has 9 parking spaces and it has no restrooms. So obviously, if you add parking spaces, you're taking away from the park. So first and foremost, we would have to do restrooms, and we know from Destination Park, that's going to be
Hopefully there's no rock in the area.
150,000 minimum.
Hopefully
for a
there's
rest-
less
How
rock
many
in the area.
acres are at Gaither Park?
I don't know off the top of my head. I'd say it's probably 3/4 of an acre if I had to guess, but that's
Oh, it's
totally
that
guessing.
small?
So yes, you could do anything at Gaither, but I think our first step would be restrooms. And then you could probably do some amenities there, but you will not have funding for both, no.
And that's, I think we could add to all of our parks when we do get to them, to add more inclusive equipment to all of them.
I agree.
I think that's a noble cause. I think that's great for all of us here in town. I know it's an area that is underserved and we need to do better at serving that community. So any park we do, I'm going to be an advocate for
Absolutely.
some form
Yes.
of play equipment for special needs or handicap.
And just touch on the pickleball, we, Bill and I talked about this 7, 8 months ago, about adding pickleball courts here. Originally when we met with GMC to do that, it went to Tyler Park because we don't have enough land here, or not enough land. The area I was gonna use was not suitable for pickleball. So we reached out to Walton County and they agreed, and they are in the process now of putting pickleball at Meridian Park.
Meridian.
At one of our requests, so we do have it in the city, it's just not technically at a city park, but it is in the city.
Wouldn't it be fair to say that you don't have enough money to refurbish a park for the handicapped kids plus add bathrooms? Because that's expensive.
I think it has to be done in phases, no matter what with Gaither.
Well, going off the bids that I have, or the engineers that I have for Tyler Park plus restrooms, no, we don't have SPOS funds, so.
So
to cover it.
Gaither would cost Splash Plus considerably more, is that a good?
Tyler could be, but they both could be, because I don't know if I have that much money for even Tyler. Because 2025 SPOS just started, even though we budgeted 222,000, I think, for that's over 6 years, and I think it's 20,000. So the 2019 has collected, and I think it is close, lower 400,000, and that
What about the 2023 Gwinnett?
can't use it in Walton. So it's based off
The
geographical.
reason we having some of these questions is we endeavored to add bathrooms to our largest park, which is Destination Park over on Tuck Road. And the final cost of that, Danny, was?
I believe the bid was 1.9 off of memory, 1.4. I don't know, Mayor, that's been 5 years. It was over $1 million.
Over $1 million, so if we're looking at 400,000, or whatever it might be,
But now,
if we put
that was to get
bathrooms
the
in, money be
infrastructure down
gone,
there,
I
Danny.
suspect.
That was to get all of our
The water pipes
water
over there.
and sewer
Yeah,
down there, right?
Yeah, that was paid for out of utility SPOS, park SPOS, and transportation SPOS, because we had sidewalks, we had utilities, and but the park was 900, or right at $1 million. I can look in,
So what kind of impact would Gaither have as far as infrastructure?
Access to it.
Probably
I think
a lot
we have the
closer.
utilities on site, sewers, Brandon, I don't know if Brandon, yeah, the sewer's there, the water's there. It would just be, get it, up
Trucked
to
in
the park.
holes, putting it in.
I believe it's on the road.
And you said there's only 9 parking spaces over there. How many parking spaces are there at Destination? Do you know?
Jeremy, there's probably 20. maybe
Okay.
20, yeah.
And how much bigger is Destination Park than Gaither?
Destination is 2 or 3 acres. There you go.
Oh, Jeremy, good job.
Yay, Jerry.
Okay. So
No,
basically,
you don't
I
have to say
mean,
that. I was
twice
moving
as
to
many
that.
parking spaces, but it's over twice as big. So I was just wondering, as far as 9 parking places, how detrimental that is. But you're talking about a 1 point, whatever you just said, acre with only, what'd you say, 20 spaces? No, how many does Destination have? About 20? Okay.
At least 20, I know that.
Like Saturday mornings when I go, it's like 90, 80% full depending on the
Where
Saturday.
at Destination?
Yeah, because we go there a decent amount. Especially since the bathrooms got put in, people do go there and stay longer. Before, we used to go and then have to leave after 30 minutes because someone would forget they had to use the bathroom before we got there.
Well, Brandon, you should have went before you left.
And I wouldn't like to run into that problem again at,
Gaither.
Gaither Park. Sorry, my brain's still catching up from the lack of sleep on Monday, I guess, but it's a tough decision. I'm fine with Tyler Park,
Y'all
but I
want
would,
some
I would
time to
hate
think it
to,
over?
I
That's what
would
I was
hate to
gonna say,
skip over Gaither Park again.
No, I don't think anybody wants to skip over Gaither Park, but it'd be wonderful if there was a way to work around it. Patty, do you want to give us another month to think about it, or you want to vote on it?
That's up to y'all. You know, you'll have to have another engineering report, I'll point that out. I think.
Well, I mean, for
won't they
Gaither,
do?
yeah, but, yeah.
But, I mean, it's a council vote. So if you need more time to think about it, or you want to meet up here again and ask questions again and go over, it doesn't matter to me.
Well, it's your committee, and I believe you know probably more about it since you've been talking with Danny and stuff about this Tyler Park. After the discussion tonight, would you still rather move forward with Toddler, or would you like to take time to think about Gaither versus Toddler?
I've spoken to the resident manager at, what's the name of the apartments?
Alexander Crossing?
She doesn't want Gaither refurbished, so that made me stop and think. She said, these kids over here don't have adult supervision during the day much. And she says, we have a park here, and I don't want them running up to Gaither Park without supervision. So she didn't even want to discuss Gaither Park, and that made me stop and think a little bit. That's why I asked who you thought the clientele, you know, who the people would be. So that is something to think about.
Well, I can tell you, if you put pickleball courts there, my neighborhood's gonna love it, and it's right next door too.
I think Danny just said they would do it in Meridian. I know, I was told, because there's park area over at Toddler Park, and I asked Danny the other day when we were at Toddler Park, I said, could we put pickleball, you know, 'cause there's a lot of concrete area over there that is parking for the health department that's never used. But I was told by the resident expert back here, Jeremy, that if you put in pickleball, you have to put in multiple courts, and you have to put in stands because they have tournaments, and it's big business. So I don't think you can just go, but I found this out, you can't just go put in a pickleball court.
Yeah, it takes at
It's
least 3
a
to
major
4.
undertaking. So I hear you, Lisa, but I was kind of turned down with that saying, you know, it's got to be a major undertaking. But to answer your question, Brandon, I would prefer to continue on with Toddler because I think it would do more for our city, and right now that's the primary focus. And knowing that, you know, we're not abandoning Gaither Park, we know it's there, we know we've got to do something with it, and we don't know what the future holds as far as the money that we may have to work on Gaither. I got the impression that, you know, once we finish this one, something must have changed between the time Danny and I talked, that we would have work on Gaither next year, but I guess that's changed, Danny?
The cost of Toddler changed
I mean-
significantly. The cost of Toddler changed.
No, we talked about it after the cost of
Well, we talked about 300,000 back in the day, a
Yeah,
couple
but I'm
months
talking about
ago.
my time.
So if you're
Brandon
talking about
was talking about
SPOS funds, you cannot do both. So if we do Gaither with SPOS funds, there will be no more money for 6 years. Now, you can use general fund, but for SPOS, no. So if you want to do Gaither, it'll come from general fund, which we have money for. Or we can take it out of reserve, but as far as SPOS funds, if you do it all for Tyler Park, That's all your funds for SPOS for 2019 and 2025.
So we're really down to, like Brandon, I think, is focusing in on one or the other.
Yeah, and I had concerns when it first came up, just the size of Toddler Park, and kind of went and looked at some other parks, and just was concerned about it. We've used it. I mean, I got kids and grandkids have all been there. And then I know we looked at Gaither Park several years ago, and it's, Toddler Park's going to be one cost, Gaither Park's probably going to be more. I mean, just what it's going to be. And I'm also with you, Patty. I think we don't need to forget Gaither. It needs to be next on the list. But I think I like coming downtown. I like doing, bringing everybody downtown. So I would still be for Toddler.
And we keep calling it Toddler Park, but let's be honest. If you turn it into an all-inclusive park, there's a lot of special needs. They're not toddlers.
Oh, yeah.
They're
Oh,
on up in
absolutely.
age. So I know you said that it's gonna be all little kids. It's not. It's gonna be special needs children all the way up, age
Well,
is really no
it's not officially toddler.
no matter to them.
Yeah, I agree.
What is it? Does it have an official name?
Yeah, it's Kirkland Park is the official name of it.
I've always known it as toddler, but I know it's not the real name.
Right.
That's who gave it to us.
Well, I'm saying is everybody keeps thinking, well, it's only for toddlers, but
Well, then
special
now-
needs children are not necessarily
The
toddlers.
equipment is exclusively for toddlers, so you can't have a 17-year-old kid going down a 2-foot slide.
Well, if they're in a wheelchair, I'm talking about the spinning
Will there be
thing and
one?
the other little things.
Yeah, I don't know if an adult wheelchair will fit in there.
Okay.
It's, because this is exclusively toddler stuff.
is there
The
an
little
age?
playhouse.
Is there an age limit on those?
I don't know if there's an age limit as far as a size
I mean,
limit.
size limit, yeah.
I would have to ask them, but this was built around toddlers.
Okay.
So I will say that.
Okay.
So if y'all want to do inclusive and do something with Gaither, then I would say you're going to need more than what we have budgeted in SPOS.
If we want to pay it all out of SPOS, we could feasibly fit
It's
most of the
easily going to be
SPOS,
over $1 million if you do.
everything at Gaither.
If you
but,
do
yeah,
it just a
do it in phases.
simple restroom and a simple playground, maybe some inclusive, it's going to be over $1 million.
But there was also gonna be a lot of grants out there if you're doing inclusive, a lot of money, resources that could be,
So far, if there is, I haven't found many.
Okay.
There are a lot, but they're for nonprofits.
Okay.
They exclude government entities. I've had 1 out of 8 call me back, and that was T-Mobile grants.
Hometown grant.
Yeah,
Hands of
that's
Hope
it.
was gonna do a fundraiser, and they would do it wherever you've got the equipment, the inclusive parks. They were gonna do a fundraiser. I don't know where they stand at the moment. I haven't spoken with them, but they were hoping to be able to literally purchase one of the pieces of equipment,
That'd be nice.
which is good.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I don't know where they are. And did you ever hear, Danny, from the grant of the Walton Health? I'm gonna get with Shane and see if he's the one that told me about it. So let me get with him and see if he's got any connections.
Patty, as chair for your committee, would you like to make a motion?
Yes, I make a motion that we approve, the 54,000, I think it is.
600.
Yes, 54,600 for the engineer's, fee with 2019 Walton Splash funds.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Those opposed? Okay, so it passes 4-2. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, let's move on with it. Anything else, Patty?
That's it, thanks.
Okay.
Couldn't get your name out. Thank you, Skip.
Yes, ma'am. We'll move now to the Economic Development Committee. Brandon Field.
Thank you, Skip. I'll have Chrissy come up here in a little bit, talk about all the fun stuff. Well, this stuff is fun to me, too. Sidewalks, I got with Danny. He's suggesting, and we're suggesting, $200,000. So I would, unless there's any more discussion on sidewalks, I think we've had a lot over the past couple months. For motion for $200,000 to go for sidewalks in downtown, and Danny can do what he can with it.
May I ask a couple questions, Brandon,
Yeah.
before we vote? I didn't know you were going there. We're gonna do the 250, or did you just say 200?
200.
200.
Well, we have to we're gonna do 200 every year, so.
This is just 1 year worth, just,
We don't know what the future years will call for.
yeah,
Oh,
I would hate to
okay.
lock the city into something that,
So will we have to have
Long-term.
an engineering report each and every time we do a segment of that? I don't know about that, Brandon. That's a little troublesome for me. I thought about that the other night, and I thought, because we have to have engineering reports, to go to the bathroom, so I didn't know about each and every segment, if they would have to come out, or if they could do the whole.
No,
I think Bill
so
can
we
talk.
have to, you've got to survey it, you've got to do deed research on each place, so you know exactly where the right-of-way is, and if you're impacting somebody's property, you lay that out. There's a lot of different situations depending on the road you're on, what's there,
Yeah.
the utilities that you're impacting. So, what we're talking about, and I talked with Danny too, and is that, hey, if we authorize him to do this, then we can get out there, kind of pick a corridor, do the engineering work that we need to get a price. We'll have an idea what the prices are, better idea, and then next year we can budget for what we need to do next time.
Would you plan to do a whole let's use C.S. Floyd. Would you do the entire sidewalk, even though it might be and probably would be over 200?
So what we would try to do is just pick endpoints. You can, we could like to call it termini, right? You don't want to go and end halfway in somebody's property or whatever else. You want to go from this road to this road.
Right.
Could you do all of C.S. Floyd? Not for 200,000, but we could find we can do a segment of it and get that done.
yeah, like I said, we walked it, and there's some areas, like especially on city-owned property, where we might have to do curb and gutter, because we can go, I'm so sorry. So I get for using my hands while I'm talking, sorry. We can go on the opposite side from the ditches to use that as kind of like drainage, stuff like that. And I think having Bill go out with the engineers and talk with them with it as well will help keep some of that cost down.
Okay.
There's
Yeah,
other,
I agree on that.
there's other things, like, we already have drains in some area. We might have to make the drains a little bigger, but the pipe's already maybe the correct size. So it's all about where the water shoots out on. So even with 200,000, I still think we could probably get, I don't want to be locked into a number, but I know it was like, we're talking about like 1,000 linear feet. So some of it might be painted sidewalk, like if you go down Camp Street, a lot of that's just open concrete on the side. We could just do like a painted sidewalk, and that's, I'm sorry, Jeremy, to maybe give you all some more work, but, maybe have the city crew go out there and maybe paint sidewalks, something like that.
Okay.
So it's more so like, yeah, we're not gonna we have a greater plan to connect all the way down C.S. Floyd, but as long as we get to a good point and know where we're going in the future, go ahead and plan for the crossings and stuff like that. Like, not just end them with concrete, but actually have them go out to like the tactile strip and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. Well, if y'all feel okay with that, I just thought it might look strange to have a part of a sidewalk sitting there for a year. But, I mean, what it looks like is just, irrelevant, I suspect. So if you've got it worked out, that was just my question. So go ahead.
No, I mean, it's a good question because.
We have a motion, Brandon?
Yeah.
Technically, you don't need a motion. I just need like a guidance. So if y'all all in agreement, it's 200,000, what we're gonna do, because this motion doesn't give me authority to go spend it, because I still gotta come back to y'all with
Oh, yeah,
design
that's true.
fees plus the bids. That's when I'll get, but what it does is it just gives me, hey, this is what we want you to do, is 200,000. But.
So I
if y'all
remove
wanna-
my motion.
Is that-
But I would like to give Danny authorization to spend up to $200,000 on sidewalks in downtown Loganville, if the council would so like for him to do.
Does the majority of the council approve? Okay. Majority of the council approves. Okay, so you won't get a motion then.
There you go. And up next, Christie. I see you took a break from the carnival to come inside to the air conditioner for a little bit. She's been a rock star. She's been out there working the carnival. I know I went out there with my family on Sunday. We had a blast, and they are always moving and grooving out there.
Chrissy loves it. She would prefer not to be paid for those times, wouldn't you?
Sir, I'm here for the glory.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. So as you know, our carnival is here tonight through Sunday. There's some bad weather coming in this weekend, but hopefully it will hold off and we'll have a few hours at the carnival each day. Next Friday is our first Groovin' on the Green concert with A-Town A-List, so we're real excited about them. They should be a lot of fun. The Retreat of Loganville actually signed on as our premier sponsor for Groovin' on the Green, so if you see them, tell them thank you. We certainly appreciate their support. And then the last weekend of the month, on May the 31st, we have the Wing Fling. So we're real excited about that, so it should be a lot of fun. So y'all come out and join us.
Busy month.
Hey, is the dancing man out there at the balloon popping thing tonight?
I don't know. I didn't go look yet.
It was there
video.
Sunday when we
Well, he
went.
came to my store today, and the carnival saw him dancing, and they've offered him a job at the balloon pop thing.
Oh,
So look for
nice.
him, he's gonna be out there dancing.
We have a local guy that dances that he's not a paid dancer. He just shows up and does some sweet moves at some of our events. And I noticed him at the car show, but he's been at the carnival about every day. And he was there Sunday when I was there, and I feel like I know the guy now because I see him all the time going around town dancing. He seems to be a good guy. I don't really know him. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Brandon. We'll move now to the city manager's report. Brandon?
Sorry. So, council was having a discussion about packet agendas. We would like to get them earlier than the way we have been getting them. But thinking down into it, going back and forth about, because we have a month from council meeting, less than a month before the work session. And it takes sometimes every day for an engineer or for a city staff to go out there to get us what we need. So it always seems to come in late. As y'all saw tonight, Chief Lowry, had to do one tonight that didn't make it on the agenda. And if they don't get it on our agenda, they have to wait a whole nother month unless we do a called session to approve something. So it puts a lot of undue stress on, one, us as a council, because we always feel like maybe, not all of us, but some of us feel like we're overstressed because we don't have enough time to review the packet. I will say a lot of the planning and zoning cases, I do know some of council gets those as soon as planning and zoning gets them. And those are usually the ones that take the most time, so it's usually just the small stuff. But I do agree that it would be nice to have a system in place, and Danny has already agreed to do his best to get them to us on the Wednesday before instead of the Friday before. So I do thank you for that, Danny. Thank you so much. But looking into the problem, I don't really know if it's really just a packet problem. I think it might be our meeting problem.
Our what problem?
The days that we meet on. A lot of cities, and this is just discussion, this is maybe something we could look at later. This is something I think the attorneys are gonna have to look at because I believe this is in our city charter. It has to go through a different process. But maybe think about changing our days, but still doing 2 meetings a month, but maybe doing them like second and fourth Mondays or first and third Mondays, and each meeting actually be just a council meeting. We could vote at every meeting. So say they don't get it in by a certain date, they're not overly stressed to get it done because they can come and give it to Danny knowing that it's only going to be 10 to 14 days before the next council meeting. Other cities have gone to this. This is something that I think would actually help with the problem with that. So we're not always so rushed. And I know as Lisa calls it this, I call it this too. I'm not going to use the word.
I said crunch week.
Yeah, because this week on council is tough because we have from Monday and a lot of us work. So really like early mornings and late nights talking about agenda stuff before we vote on Thursday. If we have 2 weeks in between, it would leave, most likely a lot less tabling because I know everybody's tired of tabling. I get it. But even with the gentleman today that came, he couldn't make Monday, but he can make Thursday. So it'd be something like, okay, he's not here for this time. Let's make sure he can get to the next meeting. I think that was purely accidental. I don't think, he did it maliciously or anything. But that could be something that we could look at, and I think that would solve a lot of the problems other than, I think we're always going to have the problem the way we have it now with things coming in late. Because they don't want to wait for a whole nother month before something gets voted on.
Well, I'm not in favor of having 2 weeks to get,
Yeah,
we have lives to live and vacations to take and everything else, and if you have, now we're gonna have a meeting every 2 weeks, no, do it all in 1
let me
week
just
and
say
be
this,
done
y'all.
with it.
Let me just say this. So this is the entire packet this month. This is planning and development. So I'm very appreciative if you can at least get planning and development by Wednesday. I'm
Yeah.
appreciative because
Yeah.
if I pick this up on Friday night, I don't have the week, I work on the weekend, but I have questions and I'm not gonna call you guys
So
at home.
planning is done
Right, that's
literally
what I'm saying.
weeks
This should be the
before.
easy part,
It
right?
should be the easy part.
It's already online. It's there.
But
Yeah.
I need the paper. I need
Well, yeah,
this.
we already do that for several of them, so we can add you to the list.
Yeah, I'm
no
with you.
problem.
I'm on your page. I'm
Yeah, we
saying thank
can-
you. You volunteered for
Yep.
Wednesday and I'm appreciative. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll take you up
Robbie
on
gets
that.
it to us when
So,
P and Z
wait,
gets
let
it.
me, ma'am, let me finish. So the rest of this, if Bill has something or Ann has something, an invoice that comes up, I think that's what our work session's for. We talk about it and we decide. Then you've got from Monday night to Thursday to decide. And all this is gonna slow down because the moratoriums may be coming up. So, I'm good with leaving the meeting schedule like it is. And thank you so much, Danny, if we can get this on
Yes,
Monday.
thank you,
I mean,
Wednesday.
I appreciate the getting them to us Wednesday before Friday. That really will probably solve a good bit of the problems.
That's gonna be our goal.
That is gonna be
Yeah.
our goal, but there's always gonna be emergencies,
that
as
may
I
come up,
said.
that's
I
correct.
understand that.
And I just wanted to make this known just because I see it as the bigger overall problem, not just the packet problem. I just wanted to report on what other cities do. I know Ann talked to me about a city that meet every week, every Monday, and we're like, heck no, we can't do that. But I don't think it would be like it would be Monday through Thursday now, because it would also be a voting time. It's not like we'd have a work session one Monday and a council meeting the next
Well,
time.
what
It
are
would
some
both
of-
be council meetings.
What are some of the cities that have done that, so I can follow up and ask their council members how they feel about that? What are these cities? Well, give me, just throw me out
Can
some
I-
names.
Hold on, before I get myself thrown under the bus. What I said was, there are other bigger cities that do it weekly, and that those people on the council make $80,000 to $100,000 a year, and the mayor makes $150,000 a year. I mean, it's a whole different,
Ballgame
and
for
they're
us.
much bigger municipalities. I did not suggest that we go
Oh,
to.
yeah, no.
I did not
Every week.
suggest we went to weekly.
No,
I
no.
can't do that either.
Well, I'm not even talking about bi-weekly. I planned my whole life about 1 week being, this is it.
And that's
I've got
fine.
3 other
We
weeks.
can keep
Did you
it-
suggest to increase our pay to that?
Say that again?
At least wants to know if you're suggesting we increase our pay.
Yes, yes.
Well, I mean, I don't think that, I mean, candidly, I don't think that the pay is commensurate with the work that we do.
I
But,
agree.
I mean, I'm not asking for a raise. I'd rather get rid of the retirement. I think the retirement's ridiculous. But that's just me.
So,
to
well,
answer your
anyways-
question, Melanie- To answer your question, Melanie, I heard it through GMA and
GMA,
from
okay.
Paul and other people that's
Okay.
talked to me about it. I don't have
Yeah.
examples, but I'm
If
sure
you-
you could
okay.
reach out
If
to
you do a Monday and a
GMA.
Monday, that's like if you wanted to plan a long weekend out of town,
Exactly,
you're
yeah,
taking up
you're
2
screwed.
weekends a
You
month.
got
No, it
I
doesn't
don't
have to be
know.
Monday. We could, if we're gonna change it, we could look at different days.
Okay, can
Okay,
we
Danny,
all agree?
thank you
So it sounds
very-
like
thank
we
you.
don't want to change our meetings.
Thank you, Danny.
Can we all
It was my
agree?
topic to begin with. Thank you, Danny,
You're
for
welcome.
doing the Wednesday, and if we can't work through that, then we'll go to Plan B as soon as we come up with
And if
it.
anybody wants to plain zoning other than the ones I give it to now, just please let Robbie know, because those can be printed off,
And
2 weeks
Robbie's
before the
very
work session.
gracious to do that.
And I know it's
Melanie and I
online, but
did
my
ours.
generation likes paper.
Correct.
Well, I'm glad we
Trust me, I
discussed
know
it.
all y'all's
In
little
big font.
routines, I know.
Well, and I would support like the second and fourth Thursday. Because it would make the meeting shorter, they would be more concise, I don't think that's a bad idea. It doesn't increase the amount of meetings we have. I mean, this is my hell week, because I have
Yeah,
things,
mine
this
too.
week, I have things Monday, Thursday, Wednesday, Friday morning. I have to be downtown at 7 tomorrow morning. So this is a terrible week for me, but a Thursday, every other Thursday would be great, because then it takes the pressure off the city, the P and Z packet's shorter. I mean, I know how much Lisa likes to spend the majority, I'm just teasing. You know I'm teasing you. But I don't mind the idea of an every other work session / voting meeting the second and fourth Thursday. I wouldn't want it on Monday either.
Yeah. that's
But second and fourth Thursday, first and third Thursday, I'd be fine with that. But that's just my 2 cents, so we can do it the other way for a while.
Well, and just keep in mind, if we move forward with the RFQ and move forward with all that, it's gonna be crickets over here.
Yeah, but. But
It's
it
gonna be
would
y'all's
still-
meeting.
It would still help alleviate a lot of our staff and engineering and stuff. They don't have to rush to get in by a certain date, because then they know they could turn it in whenever, knowing that there's a council meeting coming up within 7 to 14 days, you know.
I would rather not have 2 council meetings. That means 2 packets that I gotta put together. So I'm okay with work session, council, but not 2 council meetings. That's 2 packets. That means I'm literally doing nothing but
Well,
putting
for
these
planning
together.
and zoning, we'd probably still keep it to be like, once a public hearing and still vote the next time. But a lot of stuff that we put on consent agenda anyways, you know.
Again,
but-
I give my week
Thank you,
freely.
Danny, for
and
doing it on
happily.
Wednesday.
I'm not looking for 2 weeks.
Okay, we're gonna move the package to Wednesday. We're gonna see how it works. That's the way it's gonna be. Okay, y'all ready? All right, we move now to the city attorney.
All right, thank you, Mayor. I'll be short. This is an amendment, or really just a cleanup of your occupational ordinance. It's not changing anything that it's already doing. It's just clearing any ambiguity in one section regarding depository institutions. Again, not changing anything. This is nothing y'all have to vote on tonight. I know that Mr. Rosenthal's typical cadence is to get y'all something 1 month and let you look at it for a month and let you vote on it the following month. So you're welcome to vote on it tonight if you'd like, but there's no need to. You can look at it for a month and bring it back next
Well, if we
month.
gotta do it, we gotta clean it up. Why wait?
It's just one
We'll have
sentence
something else
change.
next month.
It's just
one
one
sentence.
sentence change. I say we just vote on it.
All right, we have a motion? No, we ain't got a motion yet.
I'll make the motion.
I said, do we have a motion?
I make a motion to amend the 2025 occupational tax update.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second hand?
Second.
All right. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Approved. Let's do it.
That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second?
Second.
Don't forget
All in
library
favor,
tomorrow.
say aye. Do what, Danny?
Don't forget the benefit tomorrow, Friday, for the library.
Absolutely.
Paul's daughter done a lot of work.
Very good.